Good morning and welcome to Leza Live. I'm Barry. I'm filling in for Leza LaChapelle Dandos, who is traveling the world, evidently, on a cruise. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, she's on vacation yet again.
Vacation. I know. What happened? How does this happen?
Dude, she has the best life. She
It's
works
been
1
like-
hour a day, and then
Exactly.
she goes on vacation for 3 months.
The best life because she works with you 1 hour a day.
Well,
So
of
that's
course.
how that is. And Drew, how you doing, Drew?
Doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm tired. I'm really, really tired.
Well, you know, that's what happens when you burn it at both
Oh,
ends.
no. I just didn't sleep last night. I cut out caffeine for like a year, and I just started drinking it again, and now I'm just like, okay, this is. And then also I have this really bad habit. I'm sure you have this habit too. Also,
I have many habits.
well, this one is the scrolling of the reels on your phone late at night when you should be sleeping.
oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just get addicted. You get sucked into it. It's like, oh my gosh.
Put it in another room. Go
I
to
know.
sleep,
I know.
put
I
it
know.
in the other room.
I know. I should. I know.
But still, it's so much fun watching some horrible things happen.
It's just the stuff
Hell,
you're
you can
watching
just
is.
turn on the news for that.
You're gaining nothing. There's nothing intelligent that's out there on those things that is,
No.
improving your life.
Yeah,
at
and
all.
I refuse to join TikTok, and I still
I don't
see
do
the
that.
Instagram reels and Facebook, and
Yeah.
it's awful.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hilarious, but awful.
So I'm really exhausted. I'm really tired. I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie. But so what I tend to do when I'm tired is I do this. This is one song we couldn't play.
Sorry.
That's
if I would have
okay.
known, I'm sorry.
So usually, a nice little pick me up song. Is always something I kind of my go to when I'm kind of tired and a little sluggish or whatever.
Sure.
So the other thing I like to do is I had this incredible. How was your week, by the way?
It was good.
What,
Yesterday,
just
I
good?
felt like I was grilled quite a bit
Really? Why?
with Carol Chamberlain.
Oh, what happened?
Chamberlain, yes.
I didn't catch
All the
yesterday.
questions, and it was conversations with Carol.
Oh, okay.
And we got asked lots of personal questions about life, and
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, you're
No,
be
I'm not.
lucky.
No, you're lucky. Yeah.
No, it was good.
Yeah.
But you get put on the spot, and Matt and I are we just don't go that way.
You'll go. Well, that's
No,
okay. I'm glad to
no.
hear that. Anyways.
No, and I said some things that I just regret now.
Oh, really?
Exposing my time in Mexico in high school.
I'm gonna have
Never
to go.
good.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the program now. I'm anxious. So all that's on the archive. If you missed it yesterday, you can go in and listen
Yeah.
to
Oh,
it.
yeah. It's on Vimeo, and Drew has it on the website.
Okay.
And yeah.
So here's the deal. So what I'm trying to do. So my goal for today is what I like to do is every once in a while I just have to remind ourselves like what a great town we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually put a post on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago. Just every once in a while you got to remind yourself that it's an amazing day. Even if it's not an amazing day, make it an amazing day. And so this last week I had this opportunity to come in contact with a lot of people who are doing incredible stuff in this town. And so I want to do a shout out Friday. So the number is 928-541-1016. If you got a shout out to somebody who's doing something amazing in town, you came across someone helped you at the grocery store or a group you're involved in or someone who's doing something incredible. And I'm going to start out with, here's my first shout out.
Okay.
My first shout out is to Lisa Sahady and David Sigler with ACF, Arizona Community Foundation, and United Way of Yavapai County. So last Friday, remember I came in last Friday?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So I had the opportunity to be in a room at the resort with 190 other people that are all involved in the nonprofit world in some way, shape, or form. Like, do you know how many nonprofits?
Well, is that just here, or is that the state?
Well, do you know how many nonprofits there are in Yavapai County?
No clue.
Take a guess.
1,000?
3,000.
3,000. Wow, I thought I was
3,000.
shooting high.
That's a lot. And so these guys brought together 190 of them together in the room, and it was all about fiscal responsibility, board responsibilities, and just making what they do better. And when you sit in a room, you've got CCJ, you've got Meals on Wheels, you've got Boys and Girls Club, you've got Big Brothers Big Sisters, United Way. It was just an amazing, amazing situation. And to know that there's that many people in this community that are really doing good and are concerned enough that taking the time out of their day to get some additional training and stuff like that, it was awesome. So my first shout out is to Lisa Sahady and David Sigler with Arizona Community Foundation and United Way of Yavapai County. My second one, this is my second thing I got to do last week.
Okay, all right.
I went to the Prescott Downtown Partnership for their annual meeting. So You're familiar with?
They only meet once a year? I thought they
They
meant
have-
more than that.
They have to do an annual meeting once a year. The
Okay.
membership has to come
Yeah,
together
gotcha.
and vote in a new board and all that stuff. They meet more often than that. I think they
Okay.
meet monthly, I'm sure. So Audra Yamamoto is the director down there, and Dolly DeVille was terming out as the president of the board.
Mm-hmm.
And so during that afternoon, they were over at the Hacienda. And again, you've got like probably, I think we're about 100, 125 people in this room. All these people are business owners in town. All these people have a vested interest in Prescott, and they're all doing amazing things. And one of the groups that talked was SIMPO. You know what SIMPO is, right?
Uh-huh, I do.
Do you know what it stands for?
I don't remember. I used to when I was in that industry
Central
every day.
Yavapai
But yes.
Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Yes.
So Vinny Galgo's got up and spoke, and he's working with Michael Mars, one of his team members, and some other people, and they're bringing they're bringing transportation, public transportation to downtown. We've all talked about it for years and years and years and years, and it's finally going to be a viable entity that's going to work and do. And it's set up. It's really cool because it's set up like an Uber or something like that, where you can actually call ahead and plan your pickup. And for $2, they take you wherever, not wherever you want to go. There's destinations, but there's going to be a hub right downtown across from Murphy's, right there where the old Wells Fargo used to be. And you can be dropped off there. So it's a great thing for employees. So another great thing that's going on. So that's my second shout out. And I got more when we come back in a minute.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I think they came on and they were talking about it when Leza was still here a couple months ago.
When
they
Leza was
they
still
were
here?
Yeah,
She's
when
been
she was
gone for
still here.
so
She's been
long.
gone so long. But yeah, I believe they came on, they were talking about it and what their idea was, and they're clearly now implementing it.
They've
which
been
is
working on it for like
fantastic.
20 years. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's in Prescott Valley, and it's doing wonders over there. And then it's been in town, I think, in Prescott now, only like 5 or 6 months on a full-time basis. And it's what they have going on, the opportunities for employers, employees, people that just need to get to doctor's appointments and stuff like that, or get from point A to B. So I don't have all the details, but it's we've been working with them a little bit on some things. We're doing an event at Tormay, November 9th, for all the restaurateurs and hotel people to kind of get some information on it.
Now, are you going to have to cook, or are you going to get to hobnob and
No,
hang out? And
well, trust me, there's no hobnobbing when you talk with restaurant people. It's just hang out.
That's true. They all know. Yeah, they all know.
There's no hobnobbing.
Yeah.
We're the low end of the totem pole.
No way, man. I worked in restaurants for a long time when I was younger, you
Yeah?
know, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Ah.
I was exhausted
it's fun.
all the time.
Okay, so at the same time, at the same meeting, I got to hear, is it Dylan Kimball? Dylan Kimball?
Yeah, Dylan Kimball.
Dylan Kimball? The new city manager has been there since May.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
We're trying to get him on our show.
He
yeah.
should
He
be
was
on-
on.
I will let you
Well,
know.
no, he was on before our
Right.
show, right?
He was
Right.
not on this
He
show.
was on
No.
KYCA Talks. I think you want to get him on Lisa Live, though.
Okay.
Right, she wants to. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Well, I did not have the opportunity to meet him personally, but he gave a really interesting presentation on the balance of growth and services. And it was really so. Have you met him? You've not met him.
I know, just for about 2 seconds when he was here.
It's so funny because he comes across. He's like really soft spoken, kind of, and like really nice personality, kind of, but he forces you to listen to him because he kind of draws you in. But you don't know if he's a comedian or because I'm like, man, you'd be a great comedian because it's just like, I don't know, but it wasn't comedic at all. But just the personality wise, I'm like, oh, God. But I did not. I will say this: I was rather disappointed that I didn't hang around, so I got to meet him. I've not met him yet. So I put him as a call out there to Dylan, let him know.
What if he just shows up randomly today?
He can show up anytime he wants to. That'd be
Nice.
lovely.
I like
yeah,
it.
Yeah. You know, we've had people do that before.
We have on Fridays specifically.
Yeah.
And when you're here,
Yeah. And so our guest today, coming up in a few minutes, is going to be Gary Cassidy. He is a 30-year retired Army colonel, good friend of mine. He is an artist. He's an author. He is just a really great person, and he's got some really good stories to share in a little bit. So,
Drew, what's your excuse?
I have plenty. Which one do you want?
yeah. So then the other thing is, Gary actually spoke at my Lions Club yesterday, the Prescott Sunrise Lions.
Nice.
So this is my third shout out, okay, my third one. And Prescott Sunrise Lions, if you're not aware of the Lions Club and what they do, they've been around since this club has been around since 1961.
So nice.
Long time.
A few years.
Yeah.
Few years, very active. You know, so you sit in this room with these guys, and they're all we're all getting older. That's not going to stop. But these guys do what they do. If you're not familiar with the Lions Club, the Prescott Sunrise Lions is extremely active. They have a vision van that goes into different areas. They go to Paulden. They go out all the way out to Yarnell and other areas like that. And they do vision testing for people that aren't able to get the doctors or can't afford it. And they also have things. They do they maintain the trails, the handicap and blind trails up at in the National Forest. They do cleaning of that a couple times a year. They do vision screening for the kids in the PUSD. And I think I can't remember how many hundreds of kids they screened this year, but they're just an amazing group. So those are my 3 shout-outs so far of why I enjoy Prescott, why we're fortunate to live here, and all these people are doing these really amazing things that if you don't know about it, they're out there, and search them out. And if you've got a shout-out, the number is 928-541-1016.
I like this. Do you think this is going to be an ongoing Friday segment when you're in?
No, because I'm not here. Oh,
you're in almost every Friday.
No,
you just
got free food for us Friday.
Yeah, but what? People can't come in, and when you guys are all 3 of us cramming food down our faces,
you can give a
shout out.
You can give a shout out whenever you want.
Okay, there you go. Barry's inviting the community.
I just had a really good week, and I'm feeling a little tie-tied today, and so I thought, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, and I had some ideas. One of the things I was going to do was the top 10 diseases you can get while traveling abroad. But
nice.
I thought I would save that for next week when Leza gets back.
When she gets back.
When she gets back.
Yo, yeah, I like that. Well, although she's not back next week, she's back the following Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's way too short of a vacation for her.
Yeah.
Barry, when you're talking about shout-outs, I'm going to give you a shout-out because you do so much for this community. Every time it's, sponsored by El Gato.
Okay, listen, that's not why I brought up the shout-out. I appreciate that. But
I'm not doing that to say it. I'm just saying I hear a lot of that. And the other shout-out I'd like to give out is to Mike Kimball over at the Agape House.
Oh, my gosh.
He's doing a great job. They got the new facility in Prescott Valley they're working on, and he just does a great job with people that are really, really desperate and need their help. So
I heard them give a presentation at City Council a few weeks ago.
It was wonderful, probably.
I can't remember the lady's name that gave it, but just a heart. You're almost in tears when it's just what they're doing is absolutely incredible work. So yeah, Mike is another one of the great people in town that deserves a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So how long we got here till we got a break? 4 minutes.
Yeah,
all right, I got another shout
minutes.
out. I got another shout out then.
Yeah.
Okay. So my other shout out is to we're gonna go Sherry Hanna, Linda Nichols, Kathleen Murphy, and the whole group over that Keep Prescott Safe, Prop 478.
Yep.
It's something I've been involved in on the peripheral. I'm not in the trenches like these guys are. And I had the opportunity to last week interview Nate Malm, who is a firefighter. His father was a firefighter. His grandfather was a volunteer firefighter. Really, really good guy, local family man now. And unfortunately, what's happened, I've seen there's some negative signage going out right now. And the one that really kind of bothered me the other day was one that says warning. And the warning should be really that if this thing doesn't pass, in all honesty, the services that we count on, life-saving services, home, having your home protected due to fire, stuff like that, the real warning is that those services are not going to be available in the long term because Prescott cannot maintain the growth that we're having with the amount of resources we have. And so I met with Nate, and the funny thing is that these guys, this Prop 478, which is a 1% sales tax, which allows everybody that counts on these services to participate in funding it. I think is the best way to do it. There really is only one way to fund these type of things in Prescott, and that is through a sales tax. We can't raise property taxes and all those other things. So I personally feel it's the fairest way to do it. And everybody, this money is not going to be going to firefighters for raises. It's not going to go. What it's going to do is increase the amount of personnel we have providing those services, the amount of firefighters we have. It's also going to be able to upgrade their current facilities because right now, my conversation with Nat and a few other people is that they're really not living in the best situations, i.e., the buildings we're living in right now have been refurbished and repurposed, and so they don't have the things that they should have, and there's additional risk of health concerns due to carcinogens from the trucks and all these other different things. So there's more to it than it being a simple tax. What it is if it doesn't pass, it's going to be another 5 to 10 years before we see something else happen. And so I'm hoping that everyone who's listening, if you haven't voted yet, if your ballot's still on your table, Prop 478 could really, that should be an easy yes across the board. I think Malcolm was the one yesterday who was talking about it. There are tons and tons and tons of propositions. I think there's 12 or 13 on there. The one that is most important to Prescott, in my own personal opinion, is Prop 478. And so my shout out goes to Keep Prescott Safe, Sherry Hanna, Linda Nichols, their whole team over there that have done incredible work on getting the word out. And hopefully everyone understands the importance of this and how much we all count on their services. And it's an easy way, I'm going to notice it. It's a penny, less than a penny. So.
Well, I don't live in Prescott, so I don't have a choice.
Well, but, hey, yeah, well, we appreciate your support nonetheless.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, got another shout out? Anybody else? Are we going to take a break?
No, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we could take a break unless Drew wants to do the weather.
Oh, you want to do the
Haven't done that
weather?
yet today.
What do you got? It better be nice, because last week kind of sucked, by the way.
Well, we're going to have some beautiful weather. Our high today is going to be about 82. It's going to be sunny. We're going to have some light winds. And then tonight will be mostly clear. Again, more light winds. And for Saturday, 80. Saturday 82. Sunday 80. Monday will be in the 80s. We won't see anything into the 70s until probably midweek next week.
Oh.
So, and they show no sign of any precipitation. So
no snow, right?
No snow right now.
What
So,
was with that
you don't
snow
have to get
last
your
week?
snow blowers ready and your, snowmobiles. And
What was with that snow last week? It was like literally 81 day, then 30.
yeah, right.
It's insane.
Yeah, and that was Saturday. Well, it was actually, Saturday morning, round 2. It started snowing. They had a dusting. And
I know. I had quite a bit. More than
Really?
a dusting. Oh, yeah, a little
Yeah,
more than a
good.
dusting. Yeah.
yeah, we just basically got a little bit of a dusting. That was about it. And I'm up 5,500.
Well, thank
so.
you for that positive weather outlook, because I appreciate that, because I need
but,
that.
we live here. We're so fortunate. Come on now,
Well, we're going to take a short break. Coming up in a few moments is going to be, joining me is going to be 30-year retired Army Colonel Gary Cassidy. He was the artist. He was the Army's artist for a year. Did you know the Army had an artist?
I do, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for ruining my surprise.
Okay. Well, I'm not that. Well, you got to understand, I'm a military kid, too.
Oh, okay.
My father did a 22 in the Air Force. So.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, well, we'll be back in a few moments with Leza Live. If you got a shout-out, give us a call, 928-541-1016. We'll be back in a few minutes with Leza Live. Welcome back to Leza Live. I'm Barry sitting in for Leza Live. Leza, what did I just say there? I said Leza Live again. I don't know what. I told you I'm tired. Did I say Lisa? Oh my gosh, the jar. Oh my gosh, the jar.
Oh, I don't even have my mic turned up. Yeah, I'm going to get the jar. That's what I was saying.
There you go. Well, thanks for joining us on, we're going to call it Shout Out Friday today.
Shout out Friday.
Shout Out Friday. Okay, so my guest joining us right now is, Gary Cassie was, he spoke at my Lions Club yesterday. And he had these guys in the palm of his hand. It was just, they were mesmerized for about 25 minutes. And it was just like amazing. And so, how you doing, Gary?
Good, Barry. You wanna be my agent?
No, no, I don't. I have enough going on right now. But anyways, so you and I have known each other for about 20-ish years.
Yes, when we first moved here.
And you moved here because
I retired and my wife got a job here.
I know, and your wife works for the VA.
She does.
A lovely lady, Allie Cassie.
Yes.
We love her. Hello, Allie. How are you? Good morning.
I hope she's listening.
I hope
told
she's
her
listening
about
too.
this.
Oh, you told her
yeah.
about this? She just disappeared this morning. Like, bye, Dave. No.
Yes. Well, anyway.
Well, so Gary, what I love about you, he's got this story that you've written 3 books in the process of doing the 3rd one, correct?
Right. 2 books are out there. One is being written now.
And one is The Artist.
The artist story. Yeah, they start out with the soldier story, which is about me,
Right.
because I know that topic.
Right.
And the first one was the soldier story. Has it's my wife, my lovely wife, Allie, says that it's not some old bloviated colonel telling war stories.
Right.
It's more like Catch-22, but with Vietnam on.
Okay.
So I've the second one was the fisherman's story,
Right.
because I like to take soldiers fishing every once in a while.
Yeah.
We called it adventure training.
We're going to
and
talk
got-
about that.
and got credit for it. And the third one is the artist story, because I was appointed as the Army's artist for a little while.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a plug here, by the way.
Sure.
Beyond your career you've had. So Gary has done all, like, at Elgato's Olin at Torme, did all the metal work, our fencing and sculptures and stuff like that, and just is extremely talented.
Wow.
In that, yeah, it's super impressive, actually.
Oh, yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. So, but I want to talk about more about how did you, because I think you were drafted,
Yes.
and then your career went from there, and you never left.
I always liked the Army.
Oh.
I wore a helmet liner to grade school. And I had Army toys, and we played Army in the woods. And but I didn't want to join. You know, I figured if they wanted me, they'd come and get me, which they did.
They did. So this is 1966.
1968,
Oh, 68.
April 28th. But who keeps track
Oh,
of
well, I
dates
was-
like that? Yeah.
I was almost a year old by then.
Oh boy,
You're welcome.
you're making me feel old. Mature. I'm mature.
So walk me a little bit through the early period of your Army career. Your time as you were in Vietnam. You were a platoon.
I was a platoon leader. Yes.
Okay.
I got drafted. I took a bunch of tests. I did well on them, and I had 2 years of college. That was the minimum requirement in those days. And so I took these tests, and I was led into officers candidate training.
Okay.
We were really short of officers then, for some reason. They couldn't get enough of it, lieutenants. So I was sent to Vietnam. My claim to fame was I brought all my guys back alive.
Thank you, sir.
45 years later, my medic found me. He had been looking for me for 20 years, but I was in the Army and we couldn't list ourselves in the phone books and stuff like
Oh,
that.
really?
But he found one of our other platoon mates, our artillery forward observer, who ended up as a 30-year career FBI agent fighting organized crime on the East Coast. He said I wasn't all that too hard to find.
Oh, really? I like that.
So my medic turned out to be one of the recognized poets of the Vietnam War and writes under the name of D.F. Brown, and got me and a couple of other platoon members from our platoon 45 years prior. And we met at Bryn Mawr, where Doc had a reading of his poems. I'd never been to a poetry reading before. In colleges, they're run by the English department.
Right.
But I had come up through college in the art department, and we had openings, and I served wine and beer and snacks and stuff like that. At the English department, served cookies and coffee. Bless their hearts.
Bless
Anyway, Doc did this great reading, and he writes under the name, as I said, D.F. Brown. You can look him up on the internet. He
Right.
has a couple of books published, and they're the kind of poetry that really hurts your head when you read it, so they must be good.
I like that. I like that. Well, listen, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back in a few moments with Gary Butch Cassidy.
That was my code name in the Army.
Gary Butch Cassidy in a few moments here on Leza Live. Welcome back to Leza Live. I'm Barry, sitting in for Leza Live. I don't know why I keep saying that wrong. I keep saying that wrong. I keep messing it up.
You'll get it.
That's why
Yeah,
I know.
we're getting the
I don't-
jar.
That's why I don't get the chair full time. She's like, just once in a while is enough.
Well, the funniest part is the jar is mostly you and Drew.
I know. So the jar is, so Leza has issues with people pronouncing her name Lisa.
Ah,
So there's a Lisa jar up there. When you mispronounce it, you're supposed to have $1 in it.
A whole dollar.
A whole dollar. I know.
I'd get cured real quick.
My guest today is Gary Butch Cassidy, and we were talking about your time in Vietnam. So you get out of Vietnam. How does this happen? How do you get out of Vietnam?
They let you out.
Is that how it happens?
They put you in, and then they take you out. And
Okay.
that's the they that run everything.
The
of
they that
course.
run everything?
Yeah. And my nickname Butch Cassidy came out of my time in Vietnam. We're in the middle of the jungle, and some group back here in the United States
I love this story.
decided that we soldiers needed books.
Correct.
So they sent us books. We're in the middle of the jungle. We're walking. We've been walking in for days, and we got a resupply of food and a whole box of paperback books. And mostly we just buried them because you didn't want to carry any extra things. But a couple of them, we had some readers in our group, and they picked up one, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It was the narrative for the movie.
Okay.
And we started reading it. I say that's the platoon, those that read.
Right.
And the etiquette was, if you finished a chapter, you ripped it out, passed it to the next guy.
Oh, really?
And then he passed it, and then another chapter would come, and then everybody would read the book, and it'd be all ripped up, and then would bury it. And then so we loved Butch
Really?
Cassidy and the Sundance Kid so much. We changed our call signs. I became Butch Cassidy. The platoon sergeant was the Sundance Kid, and we had Kid 1 and Kid 2 for our squads.
Oh, my gosh.
But we forgot to tell our higher headquarters. And so when we got into the next firefight, we're talking on radio. Hey, Butch, they're over here. Okay, Sundance, move Kid 1 up forward. And back in the headquarters, I found out in a nice, safe bunker where they drank hot coffee and drank cold beer at night, they kept asking, who are those guys? just like in a movie.
Really? That's a great story.
I was so happy to have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid come out. Hey, Robert Newman.
Yeah.
And Robert Redford and Paul Newman.
Right,
yes,
right.
I got that right. I'm dyslexic.
That's okay.
But before then, all my growing up years, I was called Hopalong because of the last name Cassidy. I was so happy not to be called Hopalong anymore. To be called Butch. I embraced that nickname.
I was going to say, you don't have a limp. That's why I was like, Hopalong. I didn't understand that one.
Well, I played basketball, so it got shortened to Hopper.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So since we're here on the station, when we came in, you told me a story about when you were stationed in California, and you assembled a radio station.
Yes. I was
When was this? What year was this?
My life touched radio twice.
Okay.
In my Army career. First, I was the information officer for Fort Ord, California. I worked for Major General Hal Moore, who wrote "We Were Soldiers Once and Young," and the movie with Mel Gibson was taken off of that. And so they sent me to Defense Information Officers course in Indianapolis, Indiana. And where I learned how to run a radio station, how to run a radio station, how to do TV, and put together a post newspaper. And so for the next year and a half or so of my life, I was the Deputy Post Information Officer, where, and I will blow on my fingernails and rub them on my shirt, we won the coveted, much sought after Blue Pin Award for the best Army newspaper of the year. It's like winning a Pulitzer.
Of course you did.
Yeah. I didn't write it. I just came up with the idea, and my boss wouldn't let me do it, so I had the guys do it anyway, and when he went on leave, I took it up to the general, and the general loved it, and we won the Blue Pen Award.
There you go.
But every morning at 6 a.m., we'd have do a radio show that we piggybacked off of a local station, and they just plugged the tapes in, so all day long we would work on the tapes. I learned the equipment. Then later in my career, I was going to graduate school in Southern California, and my first job as a new major was to be in charge of a 50,000-watt portable radio station.
Oh, it's portable.
Yes,
Okay.
the Army had two of them at the time, and they were all on. They looked like big campers, only way they were painted olive drab. And they would, like big campers. They wouldn't fit on a pickup truck. They'd fit on a 5-ton truck. and we could, it was 7 or 8, maybe 12 pods even, and we could move these things, or we could move them with 18-wheelers, or we could put them on aircraft and move them. One of the radio stations deployed to Bosnia when we went to Bosnia. So what did I do when I first got in charge of the radio station? I broke it.
All right, we hear the rest of that story when we get back here in a moment with Gary Cassidy, 30-year retired Army colonel, artist, author, and everything else in between. And we'll be back in a few moments here on Leza Live. Welcome back to Leza Live. I'm Barry, sitting in with Gary Butch Cassidy. All right, so we're in the middle of the story. You've got the portable tower, the radio station tower. You got the portable tower.
We have a tower. It was in a box. It was in boxes. Yeah, the tower was.
And the first thing you said you did was you broke it.
Yeah, I showed up. I was in the reserves because I was going to college at the time. And for my first meeting as a United States Army Reserve Major, I gave the command, well, let's turn this puppy on and see what she does. And everybody's eyes got really big. Oh, sir, we haven't turned it on in quite a while. And I said, Sergeant, I says, isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah.
We're supposed to maintain the equipment and make sure it works. And, oh, okay. I said, okay, how about tomorrow? How about we get it ready today and we turn it on tomorrow? So Sunday came.
Wait, it's not even assembled yet.
Oh, no, the pods are all there. The tower's not there. We did that at another time. We went on a 2-week drill and took 2 weeks and put this tower up and took it down.
Oh my
250 feet. Boy, was that fun. Like a giant erector set.
All right, so sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
So anyway, we got it all set. I didn't know anything. The stack of books for how this thing run was like a spaceship. It was probably 6-7 feet high if you stacked them all. And so we got it all set. The next day we turned it on, and there were 3 points of stop. It was a big dial where you turned it up to 50,000 watts. It stopped at 1.5 watts, and we turned it to 1.5 watts, and it started clicking and humming, and the concrete floor started vibrating. And I felt like all of a sudden I was in a black and white Frankenstein movie.
It sounds like it.
And I wanted to yell, "She's alive! She's alive!" so bad, but I didn't want to let the true Butch Cassidy out just yet. I was just taking over. And so let's turn it up to 20,000 watts. And so that was the next click on the dial. And he turns it up to 20,000 watts, and the concrete shakes a little more. Everything clicks and hums, and it's moving really good. And everybody's kind of standing around smiling because they haven't turned it on in quite a while. It's just been sitting there. And okay, let's take her up to 50,000 watts and see what it does. And everybody, you sure you want to do that, sir? Yeah, that's our job. We got to say. What if it breaks? Somebody said. I clapped my hands together and said, "Oh, goody. If it breaks, then we can fix it." It'll give us something to do. And sure enough, we turned it on, and then 50,000 watts, and it was humming. The concrete pad was vibrating, and it was going along. Everything was looking good. All of a sudden, there was a brilliant flash of light, like a lightning strike, and almost instantaneous, like thunder. And one guy dove under a picnic table. He was just back from Vietnam, and
little PTSD there,
a
little too close home.
So and it all shut down. What happened was one of the cables that was between the two of the pods had carbon arc out of existence, and all that was left was little black dust in between the two cables. And so it turned the radio stations were tube operated, and we liked that because tubes were not accessed. They didn't show any damage with electromagnetic pulses from nuclear explosions. So if a nuclear bomb went off, this radio station would continue to work while all transistors in the area would be fried. So we wanted to keep that old technology. And so we broke it, and we found a guy who worked on the original one, brought him back, as a contractor, and he walked us through. And basically he says, before you turn this thing on, you gotta clean the terminals. Clean the terminals. See? I looked around. There was a bunch of guys taking notes.
Yeah.
Clean the terminals. And after that, we got it fixed. It worked great. And eventually that particular radio station was deployed to Bosnia.
Now, see, there is a reason you've written 3 books about your life. And they're not small books. They're like, how many pages are those puppies? Like,
I started, 300 or 400 each.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing, Matt. So because I know Gary. So when I read the book,
right,
I hear Gary.
He's doing it audibly in your head.
It's like it's a book on tape type thing with Gary. So one of the other things I want to talk about is there are so many things in your career that you've done, and it spans such a vast, not just time, but situations and events that it's really amazing what you've experienced in your career. And one of them I really liked was you were the Army's artist for a year. And I didn't know they had such a thing. Matt knew this, which you threw in my face a few minutes ago.
Way to go,
you're
Matt.
welcome.
But I did not. So explain how the Army, how you came about getting into this position as being, and why they have artists. More importantly, why they have artists as opposed to only photographers, which you explained yesterday.
From the Revolutionary War on, the Army, military, Navy, Marines, Air Force, when they came into being in World War II, they've all had an artist. Of course, in the Revolutionary War, they had an artist because there were no cameras, and that was the only way to portray what happened on a battlefield. The Army saw this as something important, to have an artist perspective. Even after the camera came into the scene. And so they've always had an Army artist who was generally picked from a competition, and mostly the Army had, very talented people, but no real background in the science of how paint dries. So as a result, a lot of the Army art that you would see from World War II on would be rather muddy. And we started picking up some real talented folks along the way. Norman Rockwell was one of our Army artists who had painted posters, mostly recruiting posters and that during World War II. He was a contractor. He wasn't in the military per se, but He was painting a machine gunner sitting behind his 30 caliber water cooled Browning machine gun. And Norman asked the model that he had, "Can I tear your clothes a little bit?" And the soldier said, "Sure." "Can I put some mud on your pants and this for reality?" Soldier said, "Sure, why not? Make it look real." "Can I put some on your helmet?" "Yeah, go ahead." "Can I put some mud on your gun?" He said, "Absolutely not. My gun stays clean, and no machine gunner would have be caught dead with mud or dirt on his weapon." And so that's how Mr. Rockwell painted this soldier. Very dirty, very torn up, but his machine gun was immaculately clean and sparkled.
Oh, my gosh. I love that. You were in good company as far as that goes. We're going to take a short break here on Leza Live. We'll be back in a few minutes to talk with Gary Butch Cassidy. Welcome back to Leza Live. I'm Barry, and we're continuing our conversation with Colonel Gary Butch Cassidy.
Retired.
Retired. Okay.
Yes, that's the operative word.
So you get to use the title for the rest of your life, though, right?
Sure.
Or you also put retired before it, or just...
I just Colonel Cassidy.
Colonel Cassidy?
My dad was Mr. Cassidy. I'm Colonel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah. All right, so you are now, how long, you served for a year as the Army's artist?
Yes, they wanted me for a year to begin with, but they decided the general that was in charge of U.S. Army Center of Military History at the time on Fort McNair decided he only wanted me for 6 months. So, but then they wanted me again for a special painting to do for the Army's Reserve's birthday, which I did.
Okay.
And that was what I call a painting by committee. That was, they wanted this unit in it and that unit in it. So I did this, and it was in a scene in Bosnia, and that worked out really well. And they unveiled this in front of the nation's capital on the Army Reserve's 200th birthday or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And there was a large audience, and I got to get up and say 2 minutes about my painting right behind Senator Strom Thurmond, who at the time was 99.
Oh, my goodness.
Dyed his hair and had a comb over.
Okay. Well, so one more thing before we go, because we're running out of time. We could literally talk for hours and hours and hours, and we're probably not going to get Ma, but tell Ma Hinshaw I said hello. If she wants to call in, have her call in real quickly here before we head out, just so I can say hello to my Ma.
Drew's nodding his head.
Okay. So anyways, tell people where you have this really... I don't think people realize the amount of art that the Army has and where it's stored I don't know if we're allowed to know that, but how it's stored is really fascinating.
It's stored in a very safe facility. If anybody saw Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, at the very end, when the government worker was pushing the Ark on the four-wheel cart, that's where it's stored. It's underground facility. It's climatically controlled, and because of some of the things in the collection, you have to have a top secret clearance to see it. And but you have to picture this: a 12-foot long by 10-foot high chain link fence on rollers, and you pull this out all the way out 10 feet, 12 feet, and there are paintings hung on both sides of the chain link. Push that one in, pull another one out. Push that one in, pull another one out, for like half a football field. It's amazing, and they turned half of the collection over to the Smithsonian to manage.
Right.
Everything from World War II back to the Revolutionary War, they had the Smithsonian. They kept everything from World War II on.
Now, one thing you were saying, I think one of our earlier conversations once upon a time was that the artwork isn't all commissioned artwork. This is art that was done by servicemen.
The Army refers to them as soldier artists, and they embed them with wherever they have action going on. A lot of this painting and that I've seen are what I would call art therapy. The soldier artist saw something that was so horrific, that's how they got it out of their system.
Right.
And there's several books that the center's published and that are available here and there.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing. Well, first, thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship. You and Allie have just been a blessing to us and to this community. Allie actually worked at the VA as a therapist there.
Yes, she does.
And probably not a bad idea that you're married to a therapist. We all should be.
She calls me her favorite crazy vet.
Hey, do we got 1 second for Ma to call in? Is she online?
Yeah.
Hey, Ma, how you doing? Nope.
Well, let's see if Drew can.
Oh,
Drew's working on it.
are you there,
he
Ma?
might be talking to her.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
go.
How you doing, Ma?
Hi, doing fine.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say hello to you because I missed you last week, I think, when I haven't talked to you for a couple weeks. So are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Looking forward to Halloween and going to some great movies. And I'm glad to hear about someone else who was alive during the Vietnam period, because I sure was.
Well, hey, is Matt calling you on a regular basis?
Yes, he's very good at it.
All right,
He
all right.
calls me to find out if I'm still breathing and walking.
Okay. If he messes up or I need to talk to him, let me know and I'll put him in line. Okay.
But
Okay, thanks very
Ma,
much.
it was
I
great
need
talking
that.
to you. Matt,
your favorite son isn't calling you, though.
say goodbye to your mother. Say hello to your mother.
Hello, Mother.
There you
Hi.
go. All right, we'll see you next week, Ma. So, Gary, thank you so much again. I really, really appreciate it. What do you have going on right now? What are you doing right now in your retirement?
I'm working for my wife, building a she shed for her.
Building a she shed, as you should be.
She needs to get away from me.
There you go. Well, thanks again for joining me. Thanks for joining us today here on Leza Live. We'll see you next week with Matt Hinshaw on next Friday. Not Matt Hinshaw. Matt Santos next Friday.